Dear child, as you receive this message, a subtle tempest begins to swirl around your essence. Someone who previously distanced themselves from you now comprehends the profound error they have made. They observe you with an unacknowledged dread, a yearning they wish to suppress, and a regret that intensifies with every passing day. They never anticipated that your absence could inflict such profound repercussions upon them. Now, each breath they draw serves as a reminder that you are no longer the one anxiously waiting, hoping, or clinging on. They have come to realize that you will never revert to the person they once left behind, and this notion fills them with greater fear than anything else. A fresh transition is unfolding around you, one that they sense even from afar. They had expected you to crumble in their absence, yet instead, you have gradually and quietly evolved into a version of yourself they never envisioned losing. As they linger in the shadows of guilt and lingering what-ifs, they confront a painful reality: you will not be the individual they return to anymore. The person you are becoming ascends to heights beyond their reach, possesses a strength they cannot fathom, and possesses an awareness that prevents you from accepting the meager offerings they previously provided. A new wave of ambition circulates, imbued with their trepidation. They witness you venturing into uncharted territory, breaking free from old patterns, and moving with a growing vitality that has made your presence more magnetic than ever. They assumed that severing ties would liberate them. In truth, it has ensnared them in an endless cycle of pondering what might have transpired had they chosen you correctly from the outset. Those memories now feel like wounds, their dreams serve as stark reminders, and all they once overlooked in you has transformed into the very thoughts they cannot escape. Their heart recognizes the undeniable truth: they lost someone destined to rise rather than wait. A new realization now haunts them: you were indeed the exceptional one, capable of deep care, honest love, and genuine generosity. However, they dismissed you, believing you would always be there, ever forgiving, forever returning. Now, they confront a version of you that has grown unrecognizable, a version they did not help to cultivate and can no longer access. It tears at their insides, as the person you are becoming, stronger, wiser, resolute, is the very individual they feared you would never become. This version no longer requires them, misses them, or awaits their return. A final wave moves across your path as their regret evolves into desperation. They keep watch over you, afraid of missing the moment someone else enters your life to provide the love, respect, and loyalty they failed to deliver. They understand that once that transpires, their opportunity will vanish forever. The haunting thought of losing you completely has transformed into a fear that robs them of sleep. Something within them whispers the truth they have long evaded: you are no longer the one waiting. Instead, you are now the one being pursued. They feel the ascent of your energy exceeding their grasp, your worth emerging with clarity that surpasses their intentions, and your journey unfurling in a direction in which they no longer belong. Their regret is burdensome, their fear intensifying, and their desire to return becomes overwhelming. Yet, the universe propels you onward, refusing to allow regression. As they maintain their watch over you, they grasp a truth that stings with profound depth: you will not be the individual they return to, rather, you will become someone they can never claim again. A new weight settles around their heart, a pressure that stifles. Each day they observe your transformation serves as a reminder of what they discarded. They never envisioned you would rise with such confidence, clarity, and inner strength. The individual who once believed you would remain accessible now sees you stepping into a reality where they exist solely as a fading memory. Your radiance has evolved. Your silence has gained sharpness. Your distance reverberates with significance. They perceive it as a caution from fate, signaling that their opportunity with you diminishes by the moment. Another wave of realization strikes them with intensity. You no longer move with the fragility that allowed them to hurt you so easily. They discern strength in your demeanor, certainty in your decisions, and a kind of inner growth that renders them impotent in comparison. This terrifies them. It terrifies them because they once had access to your vulnerability, your dedication, your loyalty, and now they see those qualities redirected toward your healing. They never anticipated that the moment you ceased pursuing them would mark the beginning of their own pursuit of your memory, attempting to cling to the remnants of what they once shattered with their own actions. A deeper regret festers as they replay the past in their minds, recalling every instance they made you feel unworthy, every occasion they offered half-hearted love while you invested your whole heart. They remember the look of disappointment etched on your face when they prioritized distance over truth, ego over connection, and pride over understanding. These choices now haunt them, manifesting as a silent storm shadowing their existence. They believed you would remain broken, yet instead, you have rebuilt yourself into someone even they fail to recognize. And that transformation, your transformation, is the very element that punishes them. Stay with me, for the next layer of their regret is even heavier. They observe others admiring you, acknowledging you, choosing you in ways they never did. They witness opportunities materializing around you, fortunes aligning in your favor, and a confidence blossoming within you that remains beyond their influence. It frightens them because they comprehend what lies ahead. Someone new is destined to recognize your worth instantaneously. Someone fresh will offer you the gentleness, respect, commitment, and fidelity they neglected to provide. Someone will occupy the space they assumed would always remain vacant, perpetually saved for them, perpetually awaited. Yet your heart is evolving, your energy is rising, and your destiny beckons you away from them. A profound truth emerges like an unquenchable flame: their time is dwindling. Every stride you take forward distances you further from their grasp, further from their influence, and further from the version of life where they held significance in your eyes. They sense it, the connection is fraying, the chasm widening, and you are slipping from their world while they remain entangled in memories of you. Their anxiety is no longer about merely losing you, it revolves around the acceptance of an undeniable reality: they have already lost you. And as they continue to watch from the shadows, a stark realization blazes within them with unbearable clarity: you will not be the one they return to. A more formidable storm brews around their spirit. They find themselves caught in a tempest they cannot escape. Each moment spent observing your evolution seems to draw tighter around their chest, akin to an unspoken judgment. You are embarking on a journey towards an untouchable version of yourself, and they are acutely aware of it. They perceive the confidence radiating from your eyes, the maturity embedded in your silence, and the wisdom present in your distance. The changes in your energy, the fortitude in your boundaries, and the new glow that surrounds you cause an internal upheaval within them as they finally grasp the implications. The door they once confidently exited is now closing for good. And for the first time, they find themselves powerless to halt it. A fresh wave of dread wells within them as they linger in the shadows, a position forced upon them by regret. They witness how others are drawn to you with curiosity, admiration, and fascination. You have transformed into a person whose presence commands respect, whose absence is felt as a void, and whose growth has resulted in a subtle masterpiece. They realize that their role in this evolution was non-existent. They were absent when you experienced your breaking point. They were absent during your rebuilding phase. They did not stand beside you when you prioritized yourself above the chaos they brought into your life. Now, they confront the consequences of their own inflicted pain, and the strength you garnered from it burns them more profoundly than guilt ever could. Allow me to elaborate because their moment of revelation is reaching a critical threshold. They never anticipated that you could become someone beyond their reach, someone whose standards outstrip their intentions, someone who no longer accommodates their apologies, excuses, or sudden affections. They maintained a belief that their return would always remain a viable option, yet now, they are witnessing your transformation into someone who has completely outgrown the need for apologies. You have elevated beyond the level where their inconsistencies can endure. And this truth terrifies them. They recognize that they are gradually becoming a chapter you are unlikely to revisit, regardless of how fervently their regrets shout. As they envision a future unfolding without them, a deeper sense of panic overtakes them. They begin to imagine someone new taking your hand, protecting your heart, and understanding you in ways they never bothered to. They envision you genuinely smiling, effortlessly, with someone who cherishes you as a priority rather than a mere option, someone who appreciates your worth immediately, not belatedly. This thought devastates them as they comprehend that they did not lose you to another, they lost you to your own healing. Your growth, and the version of yourself that ultimately chose peace over pain. A final realization rises within them, as if scripted by destiny itself. They are no longer in the narrative you are stepping into. They remain trapped in the past they engineered, replaying moments they wished to revise, engulfed by emotions they once compelled you to endure alone. You have ascended to a level of strength that renders you unattainable, too wise to replicate old cycles, and too evolved to revert to what once drained your spirit. Now, as they observe you from a distance, a mix of longing and fear overtakes them, accompanied by the painful acknowledgement that you will not be the refuge to which they return. An overwhelming pull surrounds your energy, a testament to the realization that the individuals who once walked away from you have reached a juncture where regret is no longer a whisper but a deafening scream. Their emotions have become sharp, intense, and relentless. Each day devoid of you serves as a reminder of their failures, and each glance at your radiant progress feels like punishment meted out by fate. They never envisioned that losing you would feel akin to losing the most secure sanctuary they had ever known. Yet, the truth is settling deep within them, suffused with unbearable intensity. You were the one thing they should have cherished, not forsaken. A new wave of dread engulfs them as they observe your current demeanor, calm, confident, deliberate. They perceive no remnants of the individual who once lingered for their diminishing attentions. You no longer look back. You are not seeking closure. You refuse to contort yourself to fit their inadequate offerings. You ascend with quiet assurance, heal without craving acknowledgement, and depart without the trepidation they anticipated. This terrifies them. Their belief that time would remain on their side, to return, to rectify, or simply to choose you at their convenience, has evaporated. They feel the window of opportunity closing, aware that they are the architects of its demise. Allow me to elaborate further, as their awareness is poised to deepen even more. They observe potential partners orbiting your newfound energy, individuals captivated by your strength, beauty, and spirit. They notice how doors swing open for you, how blessings trail behind you, how your aura attracts admiration without effort. They dread the moment when someone dares to present you with the loyalty they failed to offer. They quail at the thought of you allowing someone new into your heart, of seeing you cherished in ways they never managed to express. That fear haunts them like a recurring nightmare each time they glimpse your name, face, or progress. An entirely new kind of regret has embedded itself within, one that denies them the peace of sleep. They reflect upon every instance when your messages went unanswered. Every day you were kept in the waiting room of their affections, every promise broken without a hint of contrition. They recall the moments you sought reassurance while they opted for silence, your yearning for clarity as they chose confusion, your warmth offered in the midst of their coldness. Those memories churn within them now, not merely as guilt but as the undeniable realization that they lost someone incomparable. Losing you marked not merely a mistake but a pivotal turning point in their life. A concluding truth comes forth as a verdict from the universe. They watch you now, aware that they cannot reach you once more. You have outgrown the version of yourself that tolerated their excuses, believed in their potential over their habitual patterns, and waited for them to honor you correctly. As your energy amplifies and your path clarifies, they remain frozen in a past of their own making, observing someone they once had unfettered access to transform into an unparalleled future that they can no longer claim. They now understand with a clarity that inflicts greater pain than any farewell could, you will not be the one to whom they return. Instead, you will be the person they remember, and regret letting go of, throughout their life. A heavier, darker tension envelopes them as the more they watch you, the more they realize they are witnessing something unfathomable. Your growth has eclipsed their very memory. The once vibrant presence they held in your life is fading into something distant and inconsequential, which devastates them from the inside out. They feel the chasm widening, the connection thinning, the bond dissolving into an irreparable silence. The individual who once believed they could supplant you is awakening to an undeniable truth. You were the rare one, the genuine one, the one they were not prepared to lose. This realization weighs heavily upon them, refusing to be forgotten. Another wave of trepidation arises as they witness your newfound steadiness, your unshakable calm, your unwavering focus. They reminisce about the version of you who used to overthink, overlove, and overgive. Desperately searching for traces of that individual, but it has vanished completely. You will no longer be the person they turn to. The individual you are evolving into is ascending beyond their grasp, exhibiting a strength they cannot manage and an awareness that prevents you from accepting the mere leftovers they used to offer. A new aura surrounds your name, infused with their trepidation. They observe you navigating new realms, dismantling old habits, and moving quietly while your energy amplifies, becoming more compelling than ever. They believed that releasing you would liberate them, however, it instead tethered them to a lifetime of contemplation about what might have transpired had they made the right choice initially. Their recollections now resemble wounds, their dreams serve as poignant reminders, and all the aspects of you they once overlooked have transformed into the very thoughts they cannot escape. Deep within, their heart acknowledges the truth: they have lost someone destined to ascend, not remain stagnant. A new understanding now haunts them. You were the exceptional one, someone who cared profoundly, loved authentically, and gave with genuine intention. Yet, they discarded you, mistakenly assuming you would always be there, perpetually forgiving and returning. Now, they are confronted with a version of you that they can no longer interpret, a version they did not contribute to, one that remains beyond their reach. This realization gnaws at them, for the person you are becoming, stronger, wiser, and resolute, is one they had always wished would not evolve, as this iteration of you no longer desires them, misses them, or awaits their return. A final wave washes over your path as their remorse deepens into urgency. They keep a wary eye on you, fearing the moment another person enters your life, offering the love, respect, and loyalty they failed to provide. They are aware that, upon that occurrence, their chance will be irrevocably lost. The very thought of losing you entirely haunts their nights, casting shadows of fear. Something deep within them whispers truths they have long evaded: you are not the one they can still rely on, you are the individual they should have never let slip away. Now, they must bear the burden of recognizing that they have lost a blessing cloaked in human form. A new silence envelopes you, thick with intensity as the individual who once took you for granted scrutinizes your every move, fearful of how swiftly you are ascending without them. They could not have anticipated your rapid transformation, executed with such grace and power. The more they observe you embracing your strength, the deeper their regret becomes, transforming into a constant shadow. They are not merely watching, they are studying you, attempting to comprehend how someone they underestimated emerged as the very embodiment of their thoughts. Their heart quickens at the mere mention of your name. As they recognize something irreversible has shifted. Yet another wave of realization crashes upon them with force: you no longer resemble the person they forsook. Your energy has evolved, your presence has matured, the way people respond to you has transformed. You are becoming someone who naturally commands respect without uttering a word, whose silence speaks volumes compared to their excuses. Someone whose worth they never fully recognized until it was tragically too late. Now, they watch with unease, fearing that another will appreciate what they failed to value, that someone else will cherish you in ways they could not, that another will commit to you where they only feigned concern. This realization alone is to them a source of internal devastation. A deeper truth burns within them: they are losing access to you forever. This terrifies them. They never envisioned you achieving such an unreachable state. Yet now, your growth has made it impossible for them to approach you with the same excuses, half-hearted efforts, or empty promises. You have evolved into a person who no longer bends to old narratives, who cannot tolerate emotional crumbs, and who refuses to entertain that which once drained your soul. The forthcoming truth is one that deeply unsettles them. They sense your energy shifting into a realm where love manifests in forms they could never provide: steady, loyal, intentional. They perceive destiny aligning someone towards you, someone who recognizes your worth instantly, someone who gives without hesitation, someone who demonstrates genuine effort rather than hiding behind ego. This vision of your future represents their greatest fear. They imagine you beaming with someone who values you, envision you building a life alongside them, and picture you healing in arms that refuse to release you. That image is shattering because it embodies a single, undeniable truth: your heart will no longer belong to them, even in memory. A deeper ache resonates as they replay the instances in which they pushed you away. They revisit conversations they disregarded, apologies they failed to offer, and opportunities squandered. They recall the messages left unread, the emotions they forced you to suppress, and the times they walked away while you remained hopeful. Those choices return to haunt them as echoes that refuse to fade. They realize they have not merely lost a person, they have relinquished a future, one in which you could have stood by them, protected them, understood them, and grown together. Now, that future is slipping beyond their grasp forever. A final truth rises as a closure they cannot evade: they are not watching you because they desire control. They observe because they have lost it entirely. Your ascent is undeniable, your distance irreversible, and your glow untouchable. Despite their attempts to cling to the past, it will not draw you back into their realm. They see you stepping into something greater, something destined, something healed. And as you rise, the more they sink into the painful reality they can no longer deny. A profound realization crushes them, one heavier than any challenge destiny has ever forced them to confront. The more they watch you from the shadows, the more they perceive their world crumbling beneath the weight of a truth they have long evaded. You are no longer tethered to them by hope, longing, or unfinished stories. Instead, you are bound solely by the regret that suffocates them. They sense your energy transitioning to a higher ground, where old ties are severed. With every step you take towards elevation, they sink further into the consequences of losing someone whose essence they were meant to safeguard. The silence that now exists between you is not empty, it is powerful, it is defining, and it is rewriting both of your futures. Another storm brews within them as they bear witness to your unstoppable transformation. They observe the strength in your posture, the conviction in your choices, and the brilliance of your growth. They never anticipated you would reach a stage where their memory no longer inflicts pain upon you. Yet now, they feel it, your healing has surpassed their ability to keep pace. You have shed the past like old skin, stepped away from bygone wounds as if they had never existed, and reconstructed yourself into a version of resilience they never anticipated confronting. This realization shakes them to their core, for they understand now, your evolution does not encompass their return, it embodies your rise. Stay with me, for the intensity of their current emotions is unlike anything they have ever faced. They see individuals gravitating towards your energy, drawn to your presence, captivated by your tenacity. They witness opportunities emerging around you as if the universe is clearing a path solely for you. They sense that someone deserving is being prepared for you, someone capable of providing stability they could never offer. And this terrifies them. Not due to their fear of losing you, for that has already happened, but because they fear the prospect of witnessing another love the exquisite version of you that they failed to nurture. They dread the thought of seeing your heart held by hands steadier than theirs, more loyal, more present, and more deserving. A deeper regret swells within them, akin to a wound that remains unhealed. They are reminded how they rendered you unimportant despite treating them as a priority. They recall disregarding your feelings, while you valiantly fought for the connection. They remember their silence while you shouldered the weight of every conversation. Now, those memories return to haunt them. Not as reflections but as karmic consequences. They have come to an undeniable realization: you were not asking for too much, they were simply giving too little. And now the universe is illuminating the reality of mishandling a pure heart, it becomes untouchable. They observe the version of you they wronged advancing into the person everyone desires. A final truth drives itself into their consciousness with the force of fate's decree: they no longer belong in the life you are entering. You have transcended their patterns, moved beyond their limitations, and left behind the emotional landscapes where they once held sway. You have emerged as a powerful force beyond their reach, a luminescence they cannot dim, a destiny they cannot interfere with. And as they continue to monitor your journey, the pain within them deepens daily, accompanied by the reminder of a profound reality: they will not be the ones you embrace again.